Tim. There's no avoiding it.
Man, that's
It's her
just
studio.
harsh.
We're just living in it.
Okay.
Yes, I understand.
The sooner we know this, boys, the better we're all going to be.
Yep. Hello and
Tim
welcome.
O'Day.
Thanks for coming. Yes.
Well, thanks for being on the show, Tim. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Tim, we had a cool thing happen. Something that came out of nowhere that none of us could have expected. Something kind of magical happened that day. And we'd love to hear from you just
Yeah.
kind of what went down.
Well, we were just sitting there innocently having coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Jeff had to leave early, and we were just sitting there having a nice chat, you and I and your husband. And we got up to leave. And as we were walking out, someone recognized your fine T-shirt that you were wearing. Describe that fine T-shirt that you were wearing.
So it is the Wisdom of Walt sky blue background adorned with the
You have a
red
mug. You have a mug
Wisdom
that
of
looks a lot
Walt
like it.
logo.
There you go.
There
This
it
is why
is.
we keep
Yes.
Jeff here, because I would have ignored
right.
the entire thing right there. So
Jeff has
Skylar,
that branding
like you
on.
said, she recognized it from afar.
Yes.
Who knew?
Yes, she did. So she came over and what is she, like 3 feet tall? I mean, she's just a little itty bitty thing. And
Cutest
she
thing.
came running over and she said, oh my gosh, I listened to that show. I listened to that podcast. Oh my gosh, are you Kristen? Oh my God. And she just was all effusive. And then she looked over at me and went, are you Tim O'Day? And I said, yes. And then she almost, without making the physical moves, but sort of, kind of metaphysically kind of like pushed me out of the way, like, where's Martha?
Yeah.
I love it.
And I'm like, what happened? What just happened?
I think I had to leave to make room for all of that to happen.
Yeah. And I went,
Well, and she was just going
you
a
were there.
mile a minute.
Oh yeah, she talked like a machine gun. It was just like a Gatling gun. And I couldn't half the time I couldn't make out what she was saying. And it was something like student, Cal State Fullerton, Disney, Disneyland, Shoreland, Canal boats, blah, 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 blah. My mind's in a whirl. But
Yeah.
all I heard was Tim O'Day, get out of the way. That's basically what I heard. And then she was like, look, and then she said, Martha Blanding. I'm like, what? What is going on here?
Yeah.
And then I heard that Martha Blanding was like, yeah, for her. Like Martha B, it, right? Like mentor Martha Blanding. And then she started talking to you about Martha B, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And she was going on and on and on about Martha. And she was just waxing effusive about how Martha is her mentor. And she was never able to come to any of the book signings with Martha B and I, and how she was always very sad about that, and yada, yada, yada. And so as she's talking, she was sounding very sad that she could never meet Martha, and that never happened. So I thought to myself, well, how do we fix that? So I just got my phone out and called Martha, kind of cold turkey.
Could have gone
And Martha,
a number of directions.
it could have gone badly. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Martha was like doing the dishes or doing laundry or something. Tim O'Day, what are you up to? I'm like, just hold on a minute. I got a fan. You got to talk. What's going on? Just hold on a minute. I just handed the phone over to Skylar.
Oh my
and
God.
off it went. And for the next, what was it, like 10, 15 minutes?
At least.
You and I just had to kick back and like, is the cake ready yet? I mean, it's like,
Yeah. We set that thing on autopilot and it was anyone's guess how that was going to
Yeah. Well,
land.
And my guess is that that's when Tim realized, oh my gosh, this podcast is a thing. I need to be a guest on that show.
yes, that's exactly
Bingo.
what was going through my
And
through
here
my
you
head.
are.
Yes. And here I am. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yes.
And thank you,
Yes.
Tim. So walk us through a little bit. Your life with Disney and the recent work that you did with Martha and why this was such a big deal for Skylar. Because I know it was cool for Kristen to watch all of that connection come down, but there's context here that matters. And I want to make sure everybody has that context and knows that story.
Well, the context is that I'm almost 6'3", and Skylar's what? 3.5 feet tall, and she almost knocked me over. That's the context, basically. Well, I think the context is that Skylar is, well, she sent us the information afterwards. She sent us the story on herself from the school newspaper at Cal State Fullerton. And she comes from a town up in Northern California. And what did she say? That she's like, is the first person in her family
I
to
believe,
go
yeah,
to college.
first to attend college, correct.
Right. And she said that her family didn't think she was going to be able to go to college, couldn't
Right.
afford it, and all of that. And she worked many odd jobs in order to be able to afford to go. And she came down and she worked at Disneyland and she became aware of Martha and kind of looked up to Martha like, if Martha can do it, I can do it. And
Mhm.
then
Right.
read Martha's book and realized what Martha had gone through and really looked up to Martha as kind of a role model and knew of Martha's work with Pulse at Disneyland, which was the Black support group at the park.
Mm.
So Skylar really looked up to her, and then she had that situation where she never got to meet her. And so that's why this became so special, you know? And,
Right.
yeah, and I've seen that happen a few times with Martha B. You know, Martha still mentors people at the park,
Mm.
even though she retired in what,
Mhm.
2022? And so what's funny is I'll get a text from Martha, and she'll say, "Hey, can I use your, Zoom account on such and such a date?" And I know that's what she's using it for. I just got one the other day. She said, "Hey, I need to use your Zoom account. Is that okay?" I'm like, "Yes,"
I
because
love it.
that's what she's using it for, because she still mentors people. And
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
so I didn't feel so bad to call Martha and hand off the phone. So because I
She
knew
kinda owes you
and
one.
well, no, it wasn't so much that, and I think the next day, Monday, it was a Monday, I called her and I said, "Hey, you know, I just wanted to call and say, you know, I didn't mean to put you on the spot." She goes, "Oh my gosh, I love talking to her." You know? So she had a great time talking to Skylar. She had a
I
great time.
love that.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I know Skylar
So,
was absolutely, I think, living her best moment, and now I'm starting to understand what she meant. Tim, I'm not sure, and Jeff as well, if you guys saw her she just posted it online, the commercial that she did with Josh, last name escapes me. He's always just gonna be Olaf, so can we just call him that?
Josh, why
S
am I blanking on his name?
Jeff
Josh
Barnes,
Gad.
you know this.
Mhm.
Josh Gad.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was just doing a bit with him over in the Storyland canal boats for a
I didn't see
promotional
that.
piece, and I think that's what she was again, rapid fire with her discussion,
Yeah.
but I think that's what she was alluding to. Now I get it,
There
for
you
what it's
go.
worth.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you know, and she has, you know, big goals of wanting to be an animator and all of that, which
Right.
is terrific, you know? So, yeah, it was very sweet that that all happened, you know, just kind of happenstance, you know?
And Tim, I think that
And go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just think that I want you to know, like, from the other side of the table too, just how monumental those moments really are. I'm sure you know that, and you are in a position where I'm sure you see lots of those moments. Maybe not every day, but definitely a lot more often than I've been able to experience. So it was just neat, kind of sitting, like you said, off on the sidelines. We didn't have to orchestrate any of that. I don't think we could have even, had that come together had we tried to orchestrate it, as well as it did. And so I think it just goes to show that dreams do come true, oftentimes when you least expect them. But it takes people like yourself and like Martha and even Jeff out of the kindness of their own heart to extend that moment of magic to other people so that we can just keep
Well,
these
you know,
generations going.
there's a line, I'm gonna totally blow it, but there's a line in, Field of Dreams, which is one of my
Mm,
favorite movies, near the end where Moonlight Graham, he's an old man at that point, and, he's he's he's, uh, he's reminiscing when he was a pitcher, the
mm,
one time he got to be a pitcher or a batter, I don't remember which, and, he says, you never know when you only have that one special day," you
Mhm.
know? You
mm,
don't realize it at the time that you only have that one time, right?
mm.
And you never know when that is. And I always think that, you know, you should always try to pay it forward. And, you know, I try to do that. And I sometimes don't even, I'm not even conscious of doing that. I'm not trying to, you know,
Mm.
paint myself as a saint or anything, but
Oh, we know you're not.
I just, I'm,
It's
no,
St.
I just,
Patrick's, not Saint O'Day
yeah, yeah,
Day.
yeah. I haven't driven any snakes out of Anaheim or anything, but, you know, I try to do that because I've been given a lot of breaks through the years, and a lot of people
Yeah.
were kind to me,
Mhm.
and but you don't realize it at the time, you know? One thing that I regret is that, and it's kind of the publicist PR code that when I was younger, it has changed now because of social media. But when I was younger, you were always taught as the PR person that you're not the story. that you stay behind the scenes. You don't get in front of the camera. Your name doesn't show up anywhere. And so when I was younger, I never took any pictures. I always felt weird. I never asked for autographs. I didn't take pictures or any of that. So I don't have that many pictures of me with the celebrities that I worked with or the animators and things.
Wow.
And so the pictures that I do have, I cherish because there aren't that many. So you never know, that you'll have that one special day, right?
Hmm.
So if I can help somebody else have that one special day now, so be it, because I don't have those tangible memories. And today it's easy to have those tangible memories because
Right.
everybody has a phone, right?
Right.
It's a thing that kind of irks me now because having a 20 something daughter,
Mm.
their whole generation is on the phone. However, it drives me crazy. They take more pictures of what they're eating
Right.
than what they're doing, which drives me nuts. It's
Right.
like, no, 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 take a picture of what you're doing. You know,
Right.
you're going someplace really cool. Take pictures of that. Take pictures of yourself in the environment that you're in. And they'll come back and like, oh, we ate this and we saw this. Like, no, I want to see you in that. No, the whole idea is you in that. It's like, well, we had this big bowl of pasta. I don't care about that. I want to see
Right.
you in this. So it's crazy.
I just
But
can't help but imagine that, you fast forward, let's say 50 years, and this generation at their funeral is just going to have a celebration of life slideshow of all the many gourmet cuisines they had
yeah,
throughout
yeah,
their years.
yes, yes, yes. Or the cappuccinos with the funny designs on them. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that.
It's important.
Mm,
Well,
But
and
yeah,
and what I love about this coffee shop story, right, which
Mhm.
did not involve pictures of the drip or the cappuccinos that we ordered or, whatever the case may be. The original vision for Disneyland was that every day the regular guest would be the what? Would be the star.
The star.
yeah,
And, as I look back on my career in higher education, and, working with struggling students or working with first generation students or, working with students who, they were academically gifted and financially challenged, you would get to graduation and the temptation is to think, that day is, for the board of trustees or it's for the faculty or it's for the presidential party, and those people certainly play a role. I get that, but no, it's for the students, right?
Mm.
And if it not for the students, none of us would have been there. And the way in which you, Tim, and Christian were able to just immediately, respond and react and serve and connect. I love that. And to still be able to mentor, even though you don't have an official role, um, with either of those individuals, you still like are connecting and making those things happen. And, I love to think that at the end of the day, that's our purpose. That's why we're here. And that's going to bring us more joy and more happiness and more fulfillment than any other job or activity we could possibly engage in. I know it does for me.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I love what you did for Skylar and the way that you were able to connect her to Martha.
well, having spent so much time around the Disney legends, I don't recall any of them shooing people along.
Mm.
They always spent a lot of time with people, especially people like Mark and Alice Davis.
Mhm.
Mark and Alice never
Mm.
shooed people along. They would just spend, much to the chagrin of Martha, by the way. When Martha would have an event with them, Martha would be like, "We got to wrap this up," and
Yeah.
Mark and Alice would just take their time because they just felt that people waited to see them, and they would
Yeah.
just take their time. But I would say most of the Disney legends would just spend time with the guests
Mhm.
and talk to them and take pictures and sign their books and just having a great old chat with them because they just felt that I don't know if it was that they felt that they owed it to them, but
Mm.
but they just felt and the word obligation isn't right either. It's
Responsibility?
maybe a responsibility that yeah, maybe the words possibly. I just think they felt that they were all there for the a purpose. I don't know.
Mm.
Right.
I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't like I never saw any of them go, another
Yeah.
person. Never once saw that.
It's
I just
amazing.
I just saw them just happily like next and just have a chat, and it was all very very genuine. Yeah, and so I just kind of look at it like, oh, if you can make them happy, that's kind of what we're there for, right?
Yeah. I I
So
I I believe it is. And, it's tempting to think it's a waste of time and to get
Mm.
frustrated. You're sitting there trying to accomplish something completely different and you have the stranger running at you out of the middle of nowhere, right? And the next thing you know, your next 15, 20 minutes, you're doing something completely different. But
yeah,
in doing something completely different, you are making a difference. And that's what it's all about. So thanks for
yeah,
doing that. We love it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's yeah, that was special. That was very special. I think that well, I'm just trying to think back to other occasions where things like that happened. I oh, I just remember I do remember a situation with Mark and Alice. Uh, when I don't know if you recall when they had the Disney Gallery above Pirates of the Caribbean.
I do recall
Mhm.
I love that location.
Yeah, and Mark and Alice were up there. I think they were with John Hench, and they were up there doing an event. And we used to get a very large contingent of fans from Japan.
Mhm.
Mm.
And Mark was very well known at Tokyo Disneyland because he worked on Tokyo Disneyland quite a bit. And these young Japanese women would come in and they would see Mark and Alice and they would come in and they would giggle and always over the mouths. And it was so cute. They would come in and giggle and then they
Oh,
would start crying. They would start crying. And Alice would be like, you don't have to cry. Come here. And Alice would start hugging them like it's okay. Because they were so overwhelmed that they saw their idol,
right.
Mark and Alice Davis, their idols, and they would be so compassionate with them. It was just so cute. And then just take their time with them and everything. It was just so adorable. Just so
Wow.
cute. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
great
cool
stuff.
story.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
So,
So, anyway.
well, Kristen, that was your first, "Hey, I know you," sighting out in public, was it not?
It actually was, and it was surreal.
Now you
It's
need your own
silly.
PR director. You're
I'm
on your
telling you
way.
what, I kind of feel like I've got
Well,
some job security for him.
Jeff, here's the deal though. After we're kind of done with Skylar, I have to give Kristen some tips here though.
Uh-oh.
Let's go.
Bring it on.
Well, so Skylar finished and she sat down with her friends, and then Kristen turned around to the rest of the crowd and very loudly said, "Okay, anybody else?" And people just kind of looked around and looked at her, went back to their coffee.
Yeah, no.
And I said, Kristen, they have to discover you. You don't have to bring it onto yourself.
I'm right
And
here,
because
kid.
she literally did this.
For
She
15
she she
minutes, we're
turned
done.
around. She turned around. She said, "Okay, anybody else?" And she showed off the T-shirt, and it was just like, I said, "Eric, grab her. Let's go. Come on."
Take her home.
So yeah,
Time to
just
go
take
back
her
to Vegas.
home. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just no enough.
Well,
I'll
and to
be
be
just
fair
Out.
to
a
Eric,
one-hit
he
wonder.
he took her back to Vegas that very night.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Yep.
get her over the state line. Get her out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
followed your
tried.
orders quite well.
yeah, yeah. But no, she did fine.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
I
awesome.
appreciate it,
So,
sir.
yeah, yeah. So but it was all good. But no, Martha was very flattered by meeting Skylar, and she got the article. Thank you very much for forwarding that. And yeah, she was
Wonderful.
all very flattered
very
by all
cool.
of it. Yeah.
Very cool.
So Martha said, "Now, what is this podcast?" So I gave her the links. So she's going to listen to the
Fantastic.
podcast.
We're gonna
Yay.
Yeah.
have her on then.
There
Well,
we
you
go.
could. Yeah, Martha B will come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll come on the
Can we use
podcast.
your Zoom account when she logs in?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Why not? Everybody else does. Sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Then
So,
we'll
Yeah.
all right.
we'll
Well,
send you
Well,
a T-shirt as a thank you, and then maybe
there
people will
you go.
recognize you
Yeah.
too.
Thank you very much. That'd be great.
so
That'd be
Tim,
great.
before you go, where
Mhm.
can we find this book that you co-wrote with Martha and anything else
You mean
that,
this lovely book right here? This
yes,
one right
Ah,
that one
yes,
right there.
gorgeous
That one.
and
book.
That one.
anything else that fans might want to get with you that's going to connect them to the magic of Disney?
Well, that book you can find at Amazon. And if you've read the book, please leave a review. Would love that.
Mm.
And yeah, and then other things coming up. There will be something coming up at the end of June that I can't talk about, but I think fans will like that. You'll hear a little bit more about that. You can always follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram.
All right.
But yeah, we'll be talking about this other thing. Will be coming up in June, and of course, I have to plug this because I know many listeners have participated in this. But we'll have Chalk Walk coming up this summer,
Yes.
Mm.
and Chalk Walk is a big deal presented by the Disneyland Resort, and that will be coming up again. Last year we raised $3 million for Chalk Walk.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so with all the walkers, I think we had a record number of walkers from all over. We attract walkers from all over the United States and Canada, Mexico, and Japan.
Amazing.
And
My
so
goodness.
together they all raised $3 million for the Children's Hospital of Orange County. So that was a
Fantastic.
beautiful thing. And so that'll be coming up again this summer. But the thing at the end of June, I'm pretty excited about. It's a first of its kind of event, and
Mm.
you guys will have to come out for that too. So
All right. Looking
Count
forward
yeah,
me
to it.
in.
yeah.
So,
So
All right, Tim. Well,
all
thank
good.
you again. We appreciate your
Thank
time
you.
and for continuing to spread the magic. Thanks for joining us.
all right. Thank you, Tim.